Welcome everyone to the second event in our month-long series celebrating New South Wales Seniors Festival. These events are a joint initiative of Council on the Ageing New South Wales and the Sydney Mechanics School of Arts. We're so glad to have you here with us this afternoon as we continue our journey of honouring and empowering seniors. This afternoon we'll be focusing on a very important topic, which is exercise for life and pain management. Regular exercise, as we all know, is absolutely essential for maintaining mobility, improving strength, and enhancing overall well-being as we age. Exercise plays a crucial role in supporting flexibility, balance, and cardiovascular health, which are vital for an active and independent lifestyle. Today, we will have Kamilla Haufort kick off the session by focusing on exercise for life. She'll guide us through how regular physical activity can improve our health and well-being regardless of age. Kamilla has spent the last decade in health and fitness industry, managing both commercial and community gyms, as well as working in business development and health promotion roles. She has a strong background in public health, community development and health and fitness promotion, with a particular focus on working with special populations, including the elderly, individuals with disabilities and youth. Her expertise includes developing and implementing exercise programs and strategic planning for health initiatives. So everyone, please join me for giving a warm welcome to Kamilla. Thank you, Kamilla.
So I want this to be a bit of an interactive session, so I would hope that some of you give me some feedback as we go through. So one of the things we're going to talk about today is independence. So let's start. What does independence mean to any of you guys? I need loud voices because I've got better hearing.
Not falling over.
Not falling over, really good point. Yeah, because falling over can be quite frightening, really frightening.
Doing everything on your terms?
Absolutely. And what could that mean?
Being yourself.
Being yourself? Absolutely. So give me more.
Well, shopping.
Do you own shopping? Yeah.
Independence?
Independence, yeah. So independence can be looking after yourself, staying at home, doing all the things that you enjoy, right? Anything else that people want to add before I move on? Or is that kind of...
Stay out of the aged care centre.
Absolutely, spot on, very good. Staying at home and staying out of aged care centres, although some of them are good, but it's a bit of miss. Brilliant. Okay, so I've got to do a little bit of science, but I won't go on about it too much. So there's a few bits and pieces that does decline or increase with age, and one of those is our strength and balance. Tend to, unless we of course work on our strength and balance, and we'll come to that we can reverse some of that, or at least keep our strength and balance if we work on it. But generally, unfortunately, some of that. The other thing is stiffness. Does anyone feel a bit stiff in the morning? Yeah, a lot of people, yeah. When it comes to our joints, that do tend to get more stiff. The arthritis is more common as we age. Activity levels, I guess they don't have to, but for a lot of people, they do start to reduce. We tend to sometimes have less energy, and I guess if you feel more stiff, sometimes we're like, oh, I'm just going to have an easy morning. Risk of cardiovascular diseases, including osteoporosis, diabetes, cognitive decline, and a well of others, again, tend to go up. But what can make our chances of some of those conditions reduce or better managed?
Certainly exercise.
Exercise. Regular exercise, being active. And it makes sense, right? So if our bodies are made to move, if you look all the way back in evolutionary, we need to move our body. We're not made to sit. Unfortunately, the way our lifestyle allows it now is that we tend to spend more time. We don't need to move our bodies in the same way that we did back in the day. The other thing, as you very rightly pointed out, is a higher risk of falls. Again, this can be really frightening, and it kind of perpetuates itself. The more risk of falls and the more we worry about it, the less we go out and do things which then we reduce our strength and balance because we're not using our bodies. So again, there can be a lot of sort of doom and gloom, but again, this is about what we can do in terms of improving some of this. So staying physically active, is the single most important thing we can do to stay independent. Because again, coming back to our bodies, if we use our bodies, we're a lot more likely to have long-term use. Some of this, again, inactivity is now the 4th major cause of death globally. Some of these things, again, when it comes out of statistics and research, is a lot of, oh, this is quite sad and depressing. But again, we can overturn some of that for ourselves. So remaining active. Maybe I should go back. What does remaining active do?
Moving.
What's that?
I said moving.
Moving, yeah. So remain active, yes, it allows us to move. It allows us to do the shopping and do all the things that we want to do. What else does remaining active?
Walking.
So we want to be able to keep walking. Anything else?
I'll get off your backside.
If you keep getting up, it's easier to keep going. And we actually come to that.
Keeps you in a good mood.
Absolutely, our mental health. Again, there's so much that relies on our bodies moving. So both our physical and mental health, we get out of it. So keeping our muscles strong, and we'll come a little bit more into some of the things, because walking is amazing, both for our physical and mental health, but we do need to do some strength stuff so that we can keep walking. Joints more mobile. So again, the more we use them, and in a minute we'll do a few exercises that kind of starts to get those synovial fluids moving, so that we can again keep them mobile. Maintaining good balance. How many here do regular balance training?
Just started.
Yeah, it is so important. It's so important. And if there's one thing I want you to all take home today, is that do some balance challenge, but in a safe place. So whether, if you do it at home, call and say friend, and I'll come to that in a minute, but otherwise join some classes where you can do some balance training in a safe environment. And it makes it more fun, because sometimes it can be like one of those things on a to-do list down here, and all the other things that might be nicer, and like, oh, I should do that balance training, but it doesn't always happen. Staying active reduces the risk of a fall, and again, that can be a little bit dubious, because sometimes, obviously, if we're out and about, they can also increase our risk of falls. But again, if we use our body and we become more aware of our body, that can be really useful. So what does staying active mean to you guys? So, it's okay, yeah, come sit down. What does, so someone said about walking? Yeah, so something that, again, using coordination can be really good in terms of mind exercise, is that what you mean? Or, yeah, absolutely. So if you are doing something, and again, got to be fun as well, you've got to enjoy it and being much people. So that challenges your coordination can be really good for the mind as well. So there's a lot to think of. But we want to find something, and one of my 5 recommendations later is going to be something that you enjoy, right? What are some of the other things that you guys do that you...
Swimming.
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 Swimming. Good. Swimming. Swimming's brilliant. Yes, swimming's good. I won't go into it, but swimming is excellent.
Pickleball.
Pickleball, yes. Yes, I haven't tried that yet, but I keep hearing it popping up.
Dancing.
Dancing, absolutely. And again, coming into coordination, really good. And balance.
Keeping your muscles strength. All muscles.
Absolutely. Strength and balance training should be done at least a couple of times a week, and we'll come a little bit to that.
I can do gardening.
Gardening, I love it, and we'll come a little bit to that. I better keep going, otherwise So this actually comes back straight into some of the things we talked about. So there's physical activity and there's structured exercise. And in order for us to get all the recommended sort of amount of physical activity that we need to both do some of these, so try not to pay other people to do these. These are really good for us. I know some of them are like, oh, do I have to do cleaning? But I'm going to get you all to take one hand and get yourself a cloth. Come on, get yourself a cloth, yeah? And we're going to wipe. I mean, I don't know what you're wiping, but you can pretend you're wiping something. So what, we're using our shoulder joint, yeah, so we're getting a bit of mobility through a joint there. And it might be if you take the other side and do some cleaning, it can be, into the corners there. Again, you can feel what each side of the body feels like. So it's good to do some of this. What about if you're stacking, we've done the shopping and you're getting things out of the boot of the car or the bag, or you put it into your shelf. We are using our body, and again, you can really be more mindful about the way that you're doing it and make it a bit fun. You might even put some music on. I'm going to put the shopping away. But doing all this, trying to take the stairs. I don't know if any of you guys are from the UK, but we used to have a really excellent campaign in the tubes about walking up the escalators, right? Anytime where there's stairs, I know it can be like, oh, I'll just take the lift, or I'll just stand. If you can do more stairs, again, that does strengthen our legs. Walking is brilliant. Again, more is better with that as well. So sometimes even if you don't feel like it, just getting up and doing a little bit. It might just be walking around the house. Again, everyone's different. So it might be like, for me, walking around the house is an achievement, where someone else, it might be, going for a massive 2-hour walk. We can't compare. These ones, when it comes to exercise, having something that's structured and finding something that works for you. I had a friend who was going through cancer, and I didn't realise quite how much you actually use your body in long bowling. Before that, I was like, long bowling, I don't really get it. But it's actually quite good in terms of how you're using your body. And again, if you're doing it, being more mindful around how you're stepping and how you're activating your body and your muscles for that. This obviously, we talked briefly about. Strength training is so important so that we can do all the other fun stuff. I'm going to get you guys, if you feel comfortable with it. If you don't feel comfortable with it, you don't have to. But join me for just 10 sit to stands. Okay? So, what they are is you're literally sitting on a chair and you're going to stand up. So, feet are hip distance apart, nose comes out over the knees, and you stand up. Great. And then you come back down again. Lovely. We're going to keep doing that for the rest of the session. That's 3. Okay, good. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. You know what? You guys keep going. If you want to, you can extend one leg out. If you want to, you can extend one leg out, and you can activate the muscles in your thighs. Yeah? And then when you've done a few on one, go over to the other side. 2 more.
Never just do one side.
Exactly, you want to do one keep. Yeah. And you can sit down now. Or you can keep going if you want. Okay. So, again, if you can just sneak those in, 3 sets of 10 every day, or most days of the week, or 1 set or 2 sets, ideally more, but again, something's better than nothing. Absolutely. You took the words out of my mouth, thank you. If you can squeeze that in, would be good. If you can find a local strength and balance class where they'll do this and much more, I recommend doing that at least once, if not twice a week. But start once, just so you can sort of find your feet. But you might also find some new friends. I look after an exercise program at the moment. We've got 37 classes with nearly 600 participants, and a lot of those people go out for coffee and lunch afterwards, and they've been in these programs for decades because they love it and because it keeps them going. But any of these classes, that works for you. Some people, things like yoga is generally something you've been doing for a while. Sometimes it's harder to start that later unless you do something like chair yoga. And Tai Chi, is anyone here do Tai Chi? Yeah. Yes, excellent. Really, really good in terms of, again, both your mental health but also balance. I better keep going, otherwise I'm going to run out of time. Whoop. Oh, again, I should meant to keep that one blocked up. So what type of exercise is the right thing to do? You can read that or you can come up with
3 ones.
What is that, Joe?
3 ones.
3 ones? Yeah, sometimes. Although, from someone that runs exercise program, for it to be sustainable, there's got to be some enumeration. Otherwise, they run for a short period and then they stop. But low-cost exercise is what we try and aim for. Something that's enjoyable. You don't want to have something where you're like, oh, I don't want to do it. And every week it's like, oh. Unless you have a really good friend and you're going because they really want to go. With a new capability. So you want to be stretched somewhat, but you don't want to, again, feel like you are kind of pushing the boundaries of where you might go with your injuries or anything like that. But again, coming back to family and friends, great opportunity to have a way to connect with people. You might meet them there, or you might together make a pact and go, you know what, we're going to go to a class together. And then you also keep each other kind of connected. These last two here, and this is the thing about when you sign up to something, is something's regular and something's in your diary, and if you pay for it, you're more likely to go, right?
Yes.
So there's some of the bits and pieces here. Okay, so dosage, they're doing an update for these at the moment so that it's a little bit easier to understand rather than the weekly guides. They're setting up new guidelines for daily. But on a rough term there, they talk about 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity exercise per week. So, I mean, roughly, we're talking about half an hour, but we're not just talking about sort of pondering around. This is actually, we want to get our heart rate up somewhat. So, all right. So why should we care about falling? Yeah.
If I do that, I can't.
So
Exactly.
here is a number of different things that are good to kind of be aware of when it comes to falls. So age we can't do much about. Limitations to daily tasks. Again, if we use our body, we can keep doing more. So that's why I think something like gardening and cleaning actually really good to keep going. Because otherwise, if you don't do it for a while and suddenly you go to do something and your body doesn't allow you, history of falls. Poor vision, obviously making sure you have regular eye checks, really important. Weak legs, clutter in the house. I want to talk about this one just briefly because we're coming up to April Fool's Week, so there will be more of that. You can also go on to the Falls Prevention Healthy Aging Network. They've got downloadable checklists, so you can go in and have a look at things like cords, things like pets, grandchildren's toys. Does any of this kind of resonate with people? You know, loose mats, all those things. There's so much now. Yeah.
I saw something on Facebook, and I don't know whether to believe it or not, but the person who put it there said that the stronger you are in the legs, you live longer. So
Well,
Yeah,
maybe that prevents falls, or I don't know.
Well,
I
read that.
I mean, weak legs definitely is one thing that contribute because if your legs are not strong, you can contribute towards falls. So
But
absolutely.
that would have to be like strong hips, legs, you know, a combination of that area.
Yeah, I mean, again, you want stronger legs is going to be beneficial to be able to do more. So I don't know where it's based off, so but I would say definitely work. And that's why, again, coming back to even just doing something like our sit to stands can be helpful. Clutter in the house, medication. For most of us, as we age, we're going to be on more medication. And some of those medications interact with each other. So another recommendation, I'm throwing this out to other people to do, go into your chemist or next time you see your GP and have a review of your medication. Because sometimes we've been on medication for a really long time, we keep taking it because we always have, but having someone to go through and actually go, I don't think we need that one, or we need to just change this one a little bit, can be really helpful. So I recommend doing that. Balance. Now, I won't get to do this here, but corners is a friend. Why would corners be a friend when we do balance challenges, particularly if you're on your own?
So you can hang on.
Absolutely. So if you are in a corner, and you're doing something like a tandem stance, which is a very classic balance exercise, but also a test. Never do it just next to a chair because you can just fall to one side. But if you are in a corner, you can put your hands out. Even if you fell to the side, the walls are right there. So I recommend, particularly if you're on your own, to do any kind of balance exercises in a corner. Or, again, in a class amongst other people. Yeah. All right, I'm going to keep moving. Okay, so we can prevent falls. What are some of the things that we talked about that prevents falls?
Strength,
Strength, yeah.
balance.
Balance, yep.
Declutter. Declutter.
Declutter, yes.
Eyesight.
Podiatrist, you say?
Eyesight.
Eyesight, absolutely, yes, eyesight. So shoes, yes, absolutely. So when it comes to shoes, we want to make sure that we avoid, things like slippery slippers. Terrible. They are very comfy and snuggly, but really, really quite dangerous in the house. So you want to have some well-fitted indoor shoes, ideally. It's even debatable whether those hospital socks are safe, so I would recommend having some indoor good fitted shoes. Also, when you go outside, just check things like your trainers. If they are completely worn down, they're more likely to. I'm glad someone brought that up. So shoes, have a bit of an audit of your shoe on a regular basis to see where you're at, because that can have a massive difference. So again, what you can do, obviously in terms of my background, is to do with leg strength and balance, but all those other bits and pieces we talked about, the medication, the clutter, the eyesight, the shoes, all of that, really critical. I'll recommend you to have a look into,
What about bare feet?
dancing.
No, bare feet at home.
Bare feet.
No shoes.
Yeah,
No shoes, no socks.
yeah, I
Or
mean,
not.
it again depends a bit on the surfaces. I'd say on a lot of surfaces it probably would be okay because you can't kind of grip with your foot better. Yeah.
Not a good idea. You bang your feet into things that you break.
Yeah, that's, yeah. So, yeah, so see what works for you. Maybe indoor shoes that are well fitted, otherwise if you're okay with bare feet, that can get cold in winter. But yeah, there's certainly a lot we can do. When it comes to April Fools, which is coming up next month, look for it. The website's already up, so if you go in April Fool's campaign 2025, there's quite a lot of campaign details. So, April Fools. Have a look into it. There's loads of different ideas and recommendations here. I would talk about how to find your local exercise program. We've got someone else who's going to do that very shortly. So I'm going to hand you back over to Goha now so that she can do that introduction. But thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for that presentation, Kamilla. I'm glad I wore my sneakers for that one, kept up with the sit stands. We're now really excited to introduce Tegan Fahey to take us through the New South Wales Active and Healthy website. This website is a valuable resource and a wealth of information when it comes to online learning modules, exercise programs, and health information resources. It's curated by the New South Wales Government, and it's an important and trusted source of information that is kept up to date. Tegan is a trained dietitian with a strong passion for keeping people well. With a career focused on health promotion and preventative health, Tegan has worked extensively to support communities and individuals in making healthier choices. Currently, as a program manager in the Equity and Prevention Service, Tegan leads initiatives that promote healthy ageing and improved access to preventative, equitable and inclusive healthcare for priority populations, including older adults. So please join me in welcoming Tegan to the stage.
Thanks, Gohan. It's a pleasure to be here today, and I am here to talk to you about a website. So I'll just move on to the next slide. So this is the New South Wales Active and Healthy website, and I guess just a show of hands, is anybody aware of this website already? Has anybody visited it before, or is anybody... No? Oh, that's good. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm here. That's fantastic. Because as Goa mentioned, it is a really fabulous resource because it hosts a world of information that's going to be hopefully really helpful for you all. And it is a website that is put together by the New South Wales Ministry of Health. So there is someone up there at the New South Wales Health State Office that updates this information all the time. So we can count on it for that reliable and credible information for health topics. So hopefully it's something new and something you can take away today. I will be demonstrating and navigating through the website. So I realise that this might be a lot of information if it is all new for you. There are 4 key features that I want to point out today, but keeping in mind there is so much more when you start exploring. So I feel like as we work through, don't be overwhelmed by the amount of information. There's 4 key things that I'll reiterate along the way, but rest assured that I do have a flyer with me today as well, which you can all take with you. And there is all the key features I'm pointing out today are mentioned in this little brochure that you can take, and obviously the website address and a nice little handy QR code if that's the way that you like to access your information as well. So don't be overwhelmed with the amount of information that I'm about to go through. I will send you off with a brochure, and you can work through that in your own pace at home. So as I mentioned, it is going to be a sort of a navigation, so hopefully you don't get too dizzy on the screen there as I work through all the features. But I'll just go back. The four key features that I want to talk to you today about is the Active and Healthy Exercise Directory. So this complements Kamilla's presentation nicely. We're going to look at how you can find exercise programs in your local area, and some of those programs are strength and balance programs that Kamilla was just talking about. So I'm also going to point out on the website there's some online learning. So if you're someone that likes to learn more information about healthy eating or falls prevention and like to quiz yourself on your knowledge, there is some online learning modules there available for you as well that you can work through at your own pace. As I said, there's a wealth of health information resources in this website as well, which I'll just point out a few of those that might be of interest for you. And I also want to just touch on, lastly, the Get Healthy service, which is a free New South Wales health service available to everybody for health coaching via online and telephone. So that's a service we'll just touch on at the end. So they're the 4 key features. So bear with me as we work through those today. And like I said, rest assured I do have a handy little flyer to send home with you as well. You can look at in your own time. So I'm just going to navigate to the website now and start. So I've been told how to do this. Hopefully, everybody can see that that's the website now. Oh, good. And I'm left-handed, so I'm just going to pop this little mouse over here. So this is the Active and Healthy website, and you can find this website by simply just either Google or your search engine to find a website. But like I said, we do have the handy little QR code on the flyer as well to get you to the home page. And if you can Google Active and Healthy New South Wales, and you'll come to this page. So this is the home page of the Active and Healthy website. And as I said, the first feature I want to point out to you is the exercise directory. Sorry, I just skipped over my notes. So the exercise directory is on the home page there for you. So when you first come in, this is what you'll see. And you'll see here there's this Find an Exercise Program feature there. So if you hover over with your mouse, it will highlight. So if we click on Find an Exercise Program, we're then directed to this next page. And this page here is where we can search our local area for exercise programs. So you can type in the town or suburb that you live in, or somewhere where you spend a lot of time and you'd like to do some exercise in. And the beauty of this is that it's across all of New South Wales. So if you go away on holidays or you're going to be visiting family for a certain time, you can also find exercise programs in other areas across New South Wales as well. But for the purpose of today, I'm just going to type in, got caps lock on. Doesn't matter, I don't think, but let's just type in Waverley, say we live in the eastern suburbs area, and then we can choose our distance from this drop-down box here as well. So if you're willing to only travel 5 kilometres from your home, you can choose 5 kilometres, or as you can see, 10, 15, 25, and so on. So let's just choose 10 kilometres, say we're happy to travel anywhere from our home in Waverley in that 10 kilometre radius. We choose that one, and then we just simply choose Search Programs. And what happens there is this comes up with a whole list of programs, exercise programs within the 10 kilometre radius of Waverley, and they're all listed there in alphabetical order. So we can see scrolling through, there's quite a lot of programs that are available there. So what we can also do at the top here is use some filters. So we might think that there is a certain program that we would like to find. Perhaps maybe we were talking about low cost or maybe a free program. I can see someone spotted that in the audience already. So maybe we just want to filter and reduce down some of those those programs there. So we can choose that filter to say the free programs. And there we go, we can see there, we scroll down all of those programs in that area that are free.
There are still some left.
Yes, there are. And then there might be other filters that we want to use. We were talking about Tai Chi before, so if we want to find Tai Chi programs as well, we can choose that filter. And those programs will come up. So there's different filters we can use there as well. I also just want to point out, Kamilla was talking a lot about the importance of strength and balance exercise for those falls prevention. So this website does have the feature where we can choose just the falls prevention programs if that's something that we're really wanting to focus on. And you may have noticed here these FP symbols next to some of the programs. So that means that program offers special criteria in some of those exercises that Kamilla was mentioning that do focus on that strength and balance for falls prevention. So they've met a criteria within their program that they offer those exercises. If we had a big search sort of findings here, and we've got lots of different programs, and we wanted to quickly just find the falls prevention programs, there is a little separate checkbox just over here, and we can tick that one and we'll bring up just the falls prevention programs. Now this feature is really important, I guess, in our clinical services within the health service. If you're seeing a physio or going through some rehabilitation and you're about to be discharged from that service and they wanted to refer you to somewhere in the community for a falls prevention program, they might use this database to find something in your local area. But if that's something that you're wanting to search for, then that option there is available. You can check that tick box. Or you could just scroll down and find the FP symbol next to some of them. But we've got a lot of offerings in Waverley area, so there's a lot to scroll through before you come across the falls prevention. So, and the other thing I just wanted to point out, I guess, with this, this page here, is that you can click on the program, obviously, for more information. So if you're wanting to know, the contact information for how to register for this program, to find out more information, a lot of the details are filled out there as well, but there should also be some contact information for you to be able to make an inquiry about this program. So if we get we're looking at more information here and we want to get back to our search results, if we just scroll back up to the top, there is a section there that goes back to search results rather than going all the way back to the home page. We can just go back to all of our findings in the Waverley area. So as I mentioned, it's just simply typing in at the top here. If we've looked at Waverley and there's nothing that really meets our need, or we're wanting to search a different suburb, or we can simply we think, well, maybe if I search for another 25 kilometres, I might find the program I'm after. So we can just do a research from there as well. And it will bring up all of those programs within that area. So it's a really useful database that you can, that lets you find those programs. Part of the role that we do in our team in the Equity and Prevention Service and across New South Wales Health, we're really working with exercise providers in the community to put their listings up here. So that's part of our role, to make sure that what's on offer in community is up here so people can find it. So there's a lot of work happening in the background with that. And also anyone that lists their program on this website, they are expected to update that every 12 months. So we should find that the information isn't old information. They do get reminders that they need to go in and just update their listings from time to time. So it should be fairly current within that sort of 12-month cycle. So that's the exercise directory. Now with navigating the website, as I said, there's a lot in here, but I just thought I'd just show you a quick way to get back to the home page. Sometimes when we're looking at websites, we find our way down a rabbit hole somewhere and we think, how do I get back to where I started? So with this one here, you can simply just click on the active and healthy symbol up here. If you just click on that one, it'll just take you straight back to the home page. So if you get lost somewhere and you're looking at all these different programs and you can't remember how to get back to do a new search, you just hit that active and healthy and it'll bring you back to the home page. So that's the directory that I wanted to touch on today. The next feature of the website that I just wanted to point out to you is the online learning modules. So from the home page here, if we just scroll down slightly, we can see this tile here that says Healthy Ageing Online Learning, and we can click on Learn More. Now from here, if we scroll down just slightly, you'll see there's 8 tiles here with different topics. Now, all of these topics are related to healthy ageing, so important topics that we, with information about, what we should be eating as we get older, the different falls prevention and vision, as Kamilla was talking about before. So all those important topics that we need to be mindful of as we're getting older. So we might just click on, say we wanted to learn more about falls prevention. We can click on that falls prevention tile there, and this will open up a window here, which is the online learning module. So if we just click on this play button, we can work our way through this module at our own pace. And,
Welcome to the Falls Prevention module.
I didn't know
In this
sound was going
module,
to
you will
happen.
learn about common causes of falls
There
in...
you go. There you go, and it talks to you as well. So that's really handy. So make sure you've got your headphones on if you're at home, or you've got the sound up as well. So it works your way through some different...
At the end of this module, you will be able...
Yep. I might just turn him off down here, maybe. There we go. So it clicks through each of the slides as part of the module with different learning objectives, and along the way, and you can work through the information at your own pace, but there are some little quizzes along the way just to test your knowledge as well. So if you're someone that does like to, to keep your brain working and test and learn new things, then this is a nice little set of modules and information that you can work through at your own pace at home. And as I said, the topics there's 8 topics as part of the learning series. So some related to food and healthy eating and recipes, and then we've got the oral health and vision, so our dental and eye care, and the falls prevention topic as well. Now, one other feature of these learning modules that I really like, and I find it's really a good feature, is that behind each of the modules, so behind each of those tiles, is some information and fact sheets. So if you're someone that likes to have something to read or something to put on the fridge to remind you of certain topics, there's some really great fact sheets behind each of these modules, and they've been specially designed for this purpose, for this platform. So they're really just nice, easy read, just the simple information. They are just a little bit hard to find, that's why I wanted to just show you today. So I'll just start that again so you can follow along to see where they are. So we go from our home page to the online learning modules, and then we just scroll down and we want to see the fact sheet about falls prevention. So we just click on the falls prevention tile. And at the top of the screen there, you'll see, so if we scroll down, that's where we start the actual module, and the person will start talking to us through the content. But just above here, there's some information that talks about a fact sheet. So if we just click on that blue there that says download the falls prevention fact sheet, ideally we would want to go straight to the fact sheet, but for some reason, and I'm sure there's a good reason why, it takes us to this next section and there's another click. But just this top one here, this falls prevention fact sheet, is the one that we're after. And that will just open in a new window, and it's just a nice, simple couple of pages information about the important tips around falls prevention and things that we can do at home. And each of those modules has a nice little fact sheet about this that just captures the really key important messages. So if you're, as I said, you're someone that likes to print something out, or you want to share something with some friends or family, then this is a nice little piece, written information that you can share as well. It does open you into a new window at the top here, so unfortunately you will just have to close out of that one to get you back to the Active and Healthy website. But as I mentioned, each of those modules has a nice handy little fact sheet associated with it. So let's go back to the home page again. We're nearly there. I know there's a lot of information so far, so thank you all for bearing with me. These last two we can move through pretty quickly. I just wanted to touch on, as I mentioned, some of the information that's on this website. I mean, there's so much information on here, so it would be something you could just work through at your own pace at home to try and navigate through. But along the top here, there's these topics: healthy living, falls prevention, be inspired, listen to other people's experiences and testimonials, and our frequently asked questions. So I just wanted to point out, and with each of these headings along the top, there are little subheadings underneath here as well with different information. And one thing, because Kamilla touched on it, I thought I'd just highlight in this Preventing Falls, there is the home safety checklist there for you. So you could work through this at home and just to test, how safe is your home, what are the obstacles and things around. So it works through a checklist there where you can just answer the questions yes or no, and it will give you some guidance around how you could make things safer in your home. So that's a nice little resource there that's available. And one other point I just wanted to point out with this extra information as well is this frequently asked questions. So here there are some, if we click on frequently asked questions, there's a whole heap of questions here that they've found that people sort of need some more information about. But one that I really like that's on here, and I know it's a concern for a lot of people when we are online, is about how to be safe online. So there is some information here. If we click on that question there on the little arrow, it will open us up to some more information. And it links us to this government website called Be Connected. Has anyone heard of this website before? It's an Australian government initiative, Be Connected. Yeah, maybe. So that will open us up into another window, but it's an Australian government website, and they offer just little short courses and some information about online safety. So how do we detect a scam? How do we, report scams? All those sorts of things. So I just thought I'd point that out today because I know that online safety is a concern. It's a concern for me. It's a concern for a lot of people. So if you aren't confident being online and you would like to learn a little bit more about safety and scams and that type of thing, there is some information there available for you as well. So I just thought I'd just touch on that today as part of that frequently asked questions section. Yeah, so I can just navigate that quickly again if you like. Frequently asked questions, and we just have to move our mouse down to here. And then we just scroll down and it's the second last question there, where can I learn about how to be safe online? And if we just click on there, it'll link us to the Be Connected website. So they were the key things about the extra information. You'll also notice here it says you can request a free printed copy of the Staying Active on Your Feet booklet. So there you can order a free copy of that printed booklet. It will be delivered to you by mail. And that booklet goes through some more of those exercises that Kamilla was talking about. If you're someone that likes to, to do exercise at home and learn more about sort of being safe and falls prevention, so that will be sent to you by mail. The one last thing, sorry, Goha, we are okay for time, just a couple more. One more item, because that would be the number 4. I just wanted to touch on the Get Healthy service. So this service, as I mentioned, is available to anybody that lives in New South Wales, if you're 16 years and over. And this service has recently been enhanced for healthy ageing. So they've got a component now where they're really focusing on healthy ageing. And this is a telephone coaching, an online or telephone health coaching service. So this is where you have access to a free university qualified health professional to guide you through some healthy lifestyle behaviours. So that might be around eating well, exercising more, and other topics as well. So the Get Healthy service, as I said, it is free, and you can sign up to that service from this website as well. And the Get Healthy service has their own website, but you can get linked to that website from here. And it's just under the Preventing Falls. So like I said, that extra information, if we click on Preventing Falls and just scroll down, you'll see there's a tile for the Get Healthy service. And that links you to the Get Healthy service website. As I said, that information is in this handy little brochure. But it's a really great service. It's freely available. You start off by doing up to 6 sessions with your health coach, and then there is the option to extend the program after that first sort of round as well. So it's as I said, and you get to talk to health professionals and guide you through some and to achieve some of your health goals. So really worthwhile checking out if that's something that you've looking at doing, making some healthy lifestyle changes, and having the support of the phone coach or an online coach is really good. It keeps you a bit accountable as well to help you there. So that's all I wanted to cover today. I know it's been a lot of information, so thank you so much for bearing with me. I'll just go back to the Active and Healthy website there and back to the home page. But please make sure you grab a brochure before you leave today so you can go back home and look at all of that information in your own time at home. Thank you so much. Thanks. Oh, do you want me to?
Thank you so much for that, Tegan. I have to say that I have often found myself down that rabbit hole of websites and not quite sure where to go or where to find things. So thanks for that comprehensive view of it. Very much appreciated. We're now really excited to welcome Emma Strkljevic, who will be taking us through pain management aspect of today's session. Now, I think this is a session that's really quite close to me as well, because I know how debilitating pain can be, how it can really affect every aspect of life. It can, your ability to get out and engage with others, your mood. So we're really thankful for Emma for covering this important topic. So Emma is a dedicated physiotherapist with 25 years clinical career and is currently a PhD candidate at the School of Public Health at Sydney University. Her research focuses on professional volunteering among health professionals and developing innovative interventions to promote physical activity. Emma has also worked extensively with refugees, migrants and survivors of trauma with a focus on addressing physical and mental impacts of these experiences. Please join me in welcoming Emma to the stage. Just click it to the right. There.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so delighted to be here today, and thank you, Goha, for inviting me. Last but not least, we will be talking about chronic pain and exercise, and I guess physical activity and pain as well. As you know, this is a popular subject because these chronic diseases are on the rise in modern societies. We live longer, we have more chronic problems, and there probably has to be a good way to deal with it. So we all want to live happier, more fulfilling, longer lives. So how are we going to live longer lives dealing with chronic pain is a good question. So just a few facts to start with. I will go through my presentation quite quickly and leave other interactive kind of bits for Q&A. 1 in 5 Australians lives with chronic pain. That's quite a big problem. And here are a few other facts. Due to lack of education and awareness, support and training, we're having this increasing problem in our healthcare system. So thank you to Tegan and Kamilla for actually raising our awareness to certain issues and educating us. And I guess that website is fantastic because I think education is key. So as Goha mentioned earlier, so I'm a clinician, but also I'm a public health researcher. So I guess it's very important to kind of have this link where as a clinician I see people, but it's also important that as a researcher I can educate people about the latest trends and problems in public health so people can know how to manage these issues best without being, I guess, a service consumer all the time. Well, unfortunately, due to this lack of awareness and education, we have only 1 in 100 people with chronic pain accessing proper care. And proper care is a multidisciplinary approach to care. I guess most of you, when you're in pain, you go to your GP, you get some pain medication, that's it? Right? You go to physio? Great. Anyone else? Yes. All right. Well, unfortunately, that's not very good. That's not a whole fix. It's only part of the fix. And as you can see, lastly, the cost to this treatment is quite high. It was 140 billion a few years ago and is expected to reach more than 200 billion in the next few decades. All right, so I will say a few words about pain, and there are many categories of pain, there are many types of pain, but these are the two that we are making a distinction and talking about today. So there's acute pain, which is the pain that alerts us about danger and damage to the tissues, which is a good pain, right? We want to know when our body is in danger and we want to protect ourselves. So it's a natural reflex. And we also know that this pain normally lasts during the healing process while your tissues are in repair. And this normally goes for 6 to 8 weeks. If this pain persists past 2 to 3 months, then it really serves us no purpose anymore. It becomes debilitating, disruptive, distressing. It limits our function and our ability. So it actually becomes something else. So it becomes chronic pain. We all know that we perceive pain through neural circuits in our bodies. And when these signals keep running for a prolonged period of time, this electric circuit becomes really amplified, and it kind of keeps getting reinforced all the time, and it kind of ends up being switched on. That kind of prevents us from doing anything else, from focusing on our tasks, from having a good night's sleep, from having from going out, meeting friends, family, engaging in our leisure and recreational activity, right? I'm sure most of you have experienced this. And so we are always on this high alert. And you also know that there are many factors that affect pain. Well, on this slide, I've just listed a few that negatively affect pain. If we sit for too long, right, we get a bit stiff and sore. If we are sitting in a car on a very long road trip, we're in agony the next day. Moving too much, doing a lot of housework. Most of you know that. Yes, you can't move your arms or your back the next day. Even when the weather changes. Does anyone feel the pain changes when the weather changes? And sometimes, even for no good reason. Sometimes I have patients say to me, I'm in so much pain today. I didn't do anything the last couple of days. I'm just in a lot of pain today. I don't know why. That's true. I believe them. That is a bit of... Sorry? Humidity. Well, yeah, I guess that's related to weather. Yeah. But we also know on a positive side that there are other factors that also affect your pain, but positively, in a positive way. I'm sure you know when you're going to nice places, when you're meeting good friends, when you're singing or going dancing or catching up with your grandchildren, nothing hurts, right? Well, it is an interesting phenomenon, but it's true. That's what happens. So why not use this as a way to manage your chronic pain? Because it does really help. I also know that some of my patients who are born overseas, they say, how come I'm always in pain, but when I go to my hometown, I feel no pain at all? I believe them. So that's also true. And it's all true because pain is a very complex phenomenon. And we go by this biopsychosocial model. So it's not just biological pain that we're treating. As I told you earlier, it's not pain that results from tissue damage, right? You may have had tissue damage once upon a time. You may have a torn tendon, damaged meniscus, worn out cartilage. But it doesn't mean that that pain should be that intense after such a long time. So maybe you can't see this very clearly, but the idea is that this Venn diagram with these 3 circles has a lot of writing in it, but it's good to know that there are a lot of factors in there that are written in different circles that all affect how we feel and how we perceive pain. So if you're stressed, if you're anxious, if you're irritable, if you didn't get a good night's sleep, you'll have more pain. The other day I was going to visit my mother-in-law to give her some treatment, and she said to me, I was feeling great, and then my plumber told me he's not showing up to fix the plumbing, and he won't be able to come until next week, and now I'm in pain. I said, yes, because he made you upset and you're stressed. That elevates your pain level. So having all of this in mind, we need to address all of these factors, right? So this doesn't only go for people who suffer with chronic pain, but also for health professionals and service providers. We also have to know that. It's not enough for someone who comes to me and say, oh, okay, well, I'll give you an anti-inflammatory, I'll give you a painkiller, or I'll put a bit of hot pack. Good. No. We have to look at all of these other factors and hopefully address, if not all of them, at least several, or identify them at least. One of the things I want to touch upon is that you have to keep a positive attitude, right, to find what works for you. Same with Kamilla, to find an exercise that works for you, that you enjoy. Same things will work for pain management, you'll see. The final point here, I'm not sure if you can see it, is that physical activity has a lot to do with good and effective pain management. The research has shown that people who are physically active actually have better pain management, have lesser degrees of disability, and have better function and lower pain levels. Isn't that amazing? So I guess it pays to be physically active. This comes as no surprise. Medication is not effective. I mean, yes, but that's not all. Medication serves just for you to take it so it helps you return you to function. So you can do all your activities of daily living. It's not there for you to just take and stop doing everything else. No, that is not the right attitude. So chronic pain is there. You know, if I'm not sure if the doctors tell you, oh, there's nothing we can do about that. You'll always have that. Yes, but it can be managed. Lower pain can be managed. Daily self-management and active approach to self-management is the best way to go. So what does that mean? It means setting your goals for every day and including some activity in it. When I say activity, physical, of course, but kind of doing what you normally do in your everyday life, not saying to yourself, I'm in pain, so that means I can't do that. Well, maybe not as much as you do when you're not in pain or when you have lower pain, but do a little bit, okay? So people who have this kind of approach have lower levels of disability. Here we go, about movement and exercise. Kamilla already touched upon this, the difference between physical activity and exercise, right? Physical activity is any movement that requires a bit of energy expenditure, right? So whenever we get up from our chair, go to the kitchen to make lunch, whenever we walk up and down stairs or do household chores, that's all physical activity and it all counts. Right, when we walk to the station to go to work, to drop grandchildren off to school, that's all physical activity. But also exercise, having a gentle exercise program, which is actually a repetitive movement or repetitive action that is going to target a particular body part, most likely those body parts that are exposed to degeneration, wear and tear, so knees, shoulders, lower back, hips, so mostly those things. So having a gentle program that addresses these parts is also proven very useful and effective in pain management. And this brings us to building a sustainable routine. Is there anyone who does exercises regularly? Excellent, that's quite a lot of people, that's majority. When I say regularly, and Kamilla asks as well, regularly, what do we mean by that? How often is that? Daily? Whoa, that's too good. You've just started. So you just started like this week or last month? A few weeks ago. That's great. That's a great start. That's great. It's never too late. So I really like that example. That's fantastic. So that means you must have done something to get yourself going, and you're still going. So what do? What kind of exercise do you do?
I'm not into self-help books, but I purchased a book recently called Let Them by an American author called Mel somebody, right?
Okay.
And it said, don't try and control other people, right? Let them do their thing, concentrate on yourself, be a good person, you know. And everything just sort of clicked into place. And I've been hopeless, motivated, with self-motivation. You know, start something and give up a couple of days later. Now, for some reason, this is just all...
So what has motivated you? Is it the book that was the catalyst?
Yeah, just something happened with just the two or three points, you know.
Well, I think that's probably education and awareness part of it, which is crucial.
And I'm doing a U3A dance dynamics thing, which is basically a Zumba thing. I'm doing a falls prevention thing. I'm doing exercise. So I'm amazed.
You're doing it all. All right. Make sure you don't burn out. All right. All right. Maybe for some of you who are wondering, how can I start? Maybe a good point is to go and speak to a health professional. If you probably have a few problems, sore knees, lower back, I don't know, I have a sleep disc, how will I exercise with this back? Yeah, can be done. Maybe go, speak to a physio, exercise physiologist, I don't know, other movement specialist, and they will tailor a program so that you can do it safely and probably not have much pain. And something that is not too difficult for you to do, so you can keep engaging in it over and over again and kind of enjoy it. Because if it's too hard, after several days or sessions, you'll probably give up. That's too much for me. It's not for me. So the idea is to have something that is sustainable. When it comes to pain, we also have to make that mind-body link. Always think about other factors that are influencing your performance or your pain levels that day and your physical ability that day. So consider all of the other factors and keep that positive mindset, positive attitude to think that it's a phase, it'll pass, and tomorrow is going to be better. And every day plan a little goal that you have to achieve for that day, so you can tick it off, and that's a great motivator to keep going. So finding purpose and support, and you normally do that by connecting yourself with other people, having a little network, doing things with a friend, with a girlfriend, with a grandchild, finding a group, an exercise group. So these are kind of things that people find very, very useful. Sleep, rest, and physical ability, these are the most important parts. Confidence building. Confidence comes slowly, but we have to work on building it over a long period of time. And we need sustainable strategies. So you need to sustain these activities without flare-ups. So I presume that most people like to walk, right? Walking is, sorry? The easiest thing that's something that, that we do without thinking much about it. It's cheap, right? We don't need to join groups, and it's readily accessible. We don't have to navigate websites to find somewhere. But yeah, walking is normally really, really good. But also we have to know, how much should we walk? The idea is to start gentle. Thanks for bringing that up, but that's great. So start gently so you can do it, and measure. So the lady said she walks for an hour. So either measure the length of time or the distance you've covered, or if you have these devices or a phone, measure how many steps you've done. So measure that over a period like of 4 or 5 days to a week, and then find an average. What's your average performance? And stick to that. So that will be your starting point. And then keep increasing that. Say every month or every few weeks, see how you feel. But don't rush. The idea is to keep doing this forever. Yeah. So people also ask me, oh, do I have to do this all the time? I said, well, do you have to brush your teeth every day until the rest of... Yes. I said, it's the same thing. If you want to maintain something, you have to come back to it every day. But we probably wouldn't be brushing our teeth if we had to do it for 30 minutes with a heavy brush or, with special toothpaste. So it has to be achievable and it has to kind of be sustainable. Okay, so some people who don't like walking, they can do something else. Maybe, stand up, every half an hour, every 20 minutes. Yeah, stand up, and then you would like to stand up now? Oh yeah, by all means, let's stand up. Yeah. Let's have a little stand up. What a great idea. Yeah, we've been sitting for too long. Maybe we've been talking for too long as well. Didn't really plan for this. Yeah. You can stand, and when you're ready to sit down, you can sit down. I'll keep talking because there's just a few slides. So how to keep physically active. So basically you can have your daily physical activity programs. As Kamilla said, 150 to 300 minutes of moderate activity per week. So as you said, it should not be a leisurely walk. You have to kind of be a little bit out of breath, huffing and puffing a little. So it can be stairs, it could be walking, you could be cycling or swimming, whatever you like to do. But also, a little bit of exercise on the side is great for pain management, just to increase your circulation, to keep your muscles flexible, to keep your joints mobile, to bring that fresh blood with oxygen and nutrients, to wash away all the baddies that cause pain and swelling and inflammation and stiffness. So keep a little routine which doesn't have to be very long, okay? Like in the morning, I don't know, do you do that in the morning normally? Yeah, in the morning. So you can do it before you have your coffee, you can do it in bed, you can do it after your coffee. Just have a slot where you can easily perform it and slot it in. Pacing. Pacing is key in chronic pain management. What does pacing mean to you? How do you pace? What do you do? Take a break? Regulate your exercise. And even if you're doing something else, like if you're gardening or if you're cleaning your house, doing household chores, vacuuming, ironing, you don't have to iron a whole mountain in one go just because you're behind and the pile is huge. You don't have to do that. Yeah, you have to sort of iron and then take a break before you start to feel tired and sore. That's the key. It has to happen a little bit before. And that's good pacing, because if you've done your pile and now you can't straighten your back because you're all stiff, it's already too late. You'll probably be sore for a few hours after that, or maybe tomorrow. All right. And relaxation techniques help, especially with chronic pain we have flare-ups, right? You get an intense episode and it lasts a few days and then it subsides, it goes. So during an intense, painful episode, it's good to employ relaxation techniques. Sit down, take a break, relax, feel your shoulders drop, control your breathing, and think positive. Know that this is just an episode. It'll pass. Okay, you will be able to do all those things again. Now, I already talked about physical activity versus exercise, we know. But the third point here I want to talk to you about, people normally think that when they have pain, they should not be physically active, right? And they also said to me, my doctor told me because I have sore back, I should never be lifting heavy loads again. Has anyone heard that? Yeah. That's not true. Believe it or not. You can lift whatever you can lift, and whenever you feel like you can lift it. And with physical activity and with a good program, you'll be strengthening your body, so you will come back to your capacity that you used to have. It just depends on how much you exercise. But that's generally not true. I had this, and so I injured my shoulder, I'll never be able to lift it past 90 degrees again. No, you will be able to do it again over time, slowly. You just have to work towards it with gradual increases. So the final point is keeping active and mobile actually speeds up your recovery from not only from an injury, but also from a painful episode. So during a painful episode, you will, reduce your amount of activity if you're usually really active, so you don't aggravate, the pain, but no complete rest. No complete rest. You should always do a little bit. Final point. So for health benefits, older adults should complete 150 to 300 minutes of moderate activity, so not too vigorous activity. Secondly, muscle strengthening activity should be done a couple of days a week, 2-3 days a week. So you have to be kind to yourselves. It doesn't have to be done every day. You can give yourself a day off. It's just consistency that you can tell yourself and people around you that that's what you normally do. Like if you catch a train to the city, you don't catch it on the weekends. It doesn't mean that you don't catch the train to the city. All right. And finally, if you have chronic pain, exercise is proven effective in decreasing pain and improving function. So why not do it? All right, this is my last slide with just some exercises. I mean, I can go through it. These are the general recommendations. So stretching is fantastic. You can do it sitting in the chair. You can do it in bed, whenever you can. A little bit of strengthening, as the gentleman said, strengthening of the legs. Large muscle groups. So our largest muscle groups are in the hips and thighs. So if we activate them, we can say that we're doing a lot of strengthening work. So doing that and cardiovascular exercises, the aerobic exercises like walking, cycling, swimming for general health and heart and lung health. Try the stairs, walking up and down stairs, and count. How many times can you do it? Can I do it once a day? How many flights of stairs can I do in a day? See, and monitor it. See how well you're progressing. You'll definitely improve over time. Walk more. Exercise while watching TV. That's a good one. So do you ever do that? When you're sitting watching TV, make sure you always move your feet, move your ankles, your calves. You can... Pedal machine, yes. So that's really good because we can easily spend hours in front of TV without moving a muscle, and that's not very good. Do that. And also, if you want to talk to a friend on the phone, schedule that talk and talk whilst you're getting out of the house for a walk. So you can chat, and it will easily be an hour before you've done your walk. All right. And exercise with your family. A lot of people tell me, I do this exercise with my grandchild. Do you ever exercise with your grandchildren? They always like to check everything, and they always correct all exercises when you're doing it at home. So always, you don't need a physio, you need a grandchild at home to supervise your program. So they're really good. But if you want to do like an exercise group or go for a walk, it always helps to have a buddy, and we like that. That's what motivates us. Thank you so much for your attention. It was my pleasure presenting to you, and I'm happy to answer more questions in our next segment. Thanks very much.
We've had one of our regional members write in with a question. She says, I'm really keen to exercise more, but I'm worried it might make my pain worse. Do you have any tips for knowing when to push myself and when to stop?
That's a great question. Please let me know if you can't hear me at the back. Is it working?
Yep.
No? I'll pick it up. I'll speak right into it. Is this better? Okay. As I said, we need to keep active as whenever possible. If you are going through a flare-up, you can reduce the amount of activity, physical activity, or the exercise program that you normally do, but not completely stop it. There's also pain medication that you usually take that your probably GP prescribes to you that helps you. You can take that just enough so you can return to your activity. So that's why we take pain medication, so it helps us complete our daily activity and function. Does that answer the question? So I would not say that you should not give up on your exercise. Keep doing it. You can reduce it until the flare-up subsides, but make sure you stay engaged and active.
Thanks for that. Did you want to add anything to that, Kamilla or Tegan?
No, I think that's well covered.
Excellent. Any questions from the floor?
First of all, thank the three of you for a most informative sessions this afternoon. My concern is that the information that you presented is really not widespread for, I'm guessing, the majority of people here today. I'm looking at stuff for the first time. My GP, who's excellent, is also a prescribing GP, so they don't have the time. You've got 10 minutes, whatever. You've got to go in there with a problem. He gives you a medication or a prescription for medication, and out you go. So all this wonderful information, just, you know, we're not aware. I'm speaking personally, but I guess there'd be a lot of people here who would probably agree. So thank you sincerely for all your advice. I look for the brochure, Tegan. Never heard of it. Never heard of the services. So what's happening? This is taxpayers' money to produce these things. Why is it not? I'm not obviously this is not directed to you personally, but why do we not know about?
Yeah, it's a really great point, and I'm glad that you found it useful today. So and I'm glad that we've got forums like this where we can share the information, because that's a lot of the work that we do. You know, during Seniors Week, we've got events with council, so we'll be there and seeing people. A lot of there's statewide sort of communication that happens from the Ministry of Health, but that's on like social media platforms and that sort of thing. But if you're not following those. Yeah, I think a lot of the work we rely on our partnerships with people like councils, places like COTA, to be able to reach and send out that information, because it is difficult with as with adults. Our service also works with younger people in the school system and early childcare, and they've got forums where they can reach a lot of parents and families. But with this age group, it is difficult to have those forums. So partners like yeah, but we do rely on, I guess, partnerships with organisations like COTA and our local councils to send out the information. But we're happy to hear, how can we reach you? Where should we be advertising? Like, how do we reach people? Where do you get your information from? And we can be there, because it's absolutely important.
Absolutely. Just another suggestion on there. Sign up to the COTA, a little bit of a plug for us. Sign up to the COTA New South Wales newsletter. We put in curated pieces of information that we think will be useful, lots of little bits and pieces from the Active New South Wales website. Other things, we spend lots of time trying to curate it to make sure we're hitting the right things. And if you ever have any feedback on things you'd like to see more of, let us know, because we're really keen to make sure that we're getting the right information out there for everyone to be able to access and enjoy. Got another question over there.
Following on what that gentleman said, if you want those very comprehensive leaflets with a lot of information, couldn't you go to libraries, even supermarkets, even places, schools, anything that? It seems a little bit restricted. So it's there for everybody. So if you think you go through your day, what you do through your day, I think then if you put out the leaflets, then somebody will pick them up.
That's an excellent suggestion.
It doesn't have to be narrow like it is now,
Yeah,
leave it out to the community.
absolutely.
There's so many things going on in the community, and that would be very appreciative. And I'd like the gentleman said, the taxpayers' money is well spent then.
Excellent. Thanks for those suggestions. I think there's a question just
Wonderful,
behind.
thank you.
I just want to talk about the online information and the information that Pete and I have been doing the same program whereby we get the information how to improve balance and strengths. But the information is always available digitally. But it doesn't work the same way unless you have face-to-face. We have face-to-face interaction in the program where you have social interaction. With a social interaction, it makes your mind work. It works better. So what I'm trying to say is policymakers like this lady over here, please, to think in future, make information available in a way socially interacted so that the information can be embodied into your everyday living. It's not just the info. Having the information means nothing. It's not knowledge. You have to embody the information into your everyday living, and face-to-face makes a big difference to just information.
Absolutely, and that's why, that deserves a round of applause. And that's why we're putting on more events like this to make sure that we can get that information out face-to-face as well. So hopefully it has been helpful. Any other questions from the floor? Okay, question over here.
Give me a minute so I don't hurt my knee.
All I know is that exercise is important every single day. The more you exercise, the better you will be for old age. You will not worst out, you should walk out. And also, you need to drink water. A lot more than anybody is drinking, particularly for exercise.
Any additions? Any follow-ons from that one?
I'll just support that with the water, because we've had several people over a period of not this year but last year that went to hospital because they were dehydrated. So really, really crucial to drink enough water, especially when you're exercising or when you're outdoors. So thank you for bringing that up.
Another question in the centre here. We'll just get you a microphone.
Not loud enough. Sorry. I read somewhere that as we grow old, we lose muscles. Yes. And I think it was about after 30 years, you lose 1% of your muscle. Is this true?
Yes.
Yeah, because I started going to gym in January. So, and I also need that, I think we need a protein to build up the muscle through food first. But if we can't get it from food, can we have protein supplements?
So the question is, what kind of protein
Yeah,
supplements? Can protein supplements replace what you might not be getting completely from food? Any thoughts on that? Oh, good.
Yeah, I can probably answer that one. I think, we would always, I am a trained dietitian, we would always recommend with that balanced diet, so making sure we're getting enough, we eat meat products, dairy, protein, that sort of thing, absolutely. If we find that we need supplementation as we get older, there's absolutely some good ones on the market, but you can keep it simple. You don't need to go down to the local gym shop and buy the protein powders that are really expensive. Even just fortifying using things like milk powder and putting extra milk powder in our milk, that's extra protein in there, and things that way. Sustagen's a good one that's available at the supermarket as well for older people. So I think, you don't need to go and get the really expensive things, but there's some good ones just available from the supermarket, and they're nice ways to be able to just fortify what you're having already. So, yeah.
I might just also add, when it comes to building muscle, the importance of overload. So making sure that we are constantly challenged. So it's not sort of just doing with what we're comfortable with. We need to do a little bit more. And again, within pain management, if there's a day where something is a flare-up, we might have to, reduce the amount that we do. But when we feel good, it's really about, again, challenging and doing that a little bit more.
Yeah, I just want to add something as well. So the reason this sarcopenia, or the reduction in muscle mass, occurs is with age. We yeah, it's the aging process, but also because people are becoming less physically active as they get older. And as a direct result, we lose muscle mass. And, well, we know that in older age groups, people satisfy some criteria about physical activity, about 25%, but 50% of people are not doing strengthening exercises, which are required to increase muscle mass. So walking, it's good, but not enough. You need to do a little bit more loading and resistance loading exercises. You can do it for upper and lower body, and that will increase your muscle mass.
But if you increase your strengthening exercises and you're really pushing the body, I've been told that it's good to have a day rest. That's just as important as doing the exercise, because you're really pushing the body, and that's when you start increasing your exercise.
Absolutely, yes,
So,
you're right.
Because this is where you get strains and all that, and so I was meant to believe that the rest is just as important, like the day rest and the next day, because that chain of F45, the gyms, that went bad.
45. You are really hardcore.
No, but that F45 that went bad,
Yeah.
they, like Monday was strengthening and Tuesday was aerobic and then strengthening Wednesday. So you had that day rest, Yeah.
It's full on, practically no rest at all. You can rest.
Yeah.
Give yourself a day off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so strengthening 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah. With the day rest afterwards, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's important to know as well, because there's something called delayed onset muscle soreness. So when people first start doing strength training, you can get sore and you think, oh my God, I've injured myself, but actually it's your body adapting. So depending on how hard you work, if you go into an exercise class and you're like, oh, I need to work really hard, and then get really sore the next day and you're like, oh, I'm not doing that ever again. Start slow, particularly if you haven't done something before. We always recommend within the classes that we manage, start with a lower weight until you get the technique right, and then slowly increase. But you do want to continue to increase because you don't want to stay on the same resistance for a long time. But again, it's managing what you're capable of and then increasing as you can.
Excellent. I think we've got one last question over here, and then we might wrap up after that.
Okay, I just want to talk about the resting time off. Our physiotherapist mentioned only once about stretching. And all day long we've been emphasizing exercising and moving, using energy. But as we get older, we lose the structure. The tensegrity, how the building structure, if you lose the structure, doesn't matter how much exercise you do and any healthy living, you are going to have problems. So why don't we do stretching? How come we just mention one? There's only one mention of stretching. But I think stretching is so necessary to be included into when you reduce the exercising, when you have a day off, do your stretching. And stretching is absolutely necessary. You can't do exercises without stretching.
Yeah, sorry, I think that I should have mentioned that, but I think it's one of those things that goes within saying, and I should have absolutely spoken through that. When it comes to delivering an exercise program, any well-structured exercise program will always include stretching. I'm sorry, I should have put that into my presentation. I'll take note of that.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
Stretching is important. I mean, there are all different types of exercises, right? There's stretching, there's mobility, there's strengthening, there's balance, there's coordination, agility. There's all different types of exercise. So stretching is one of them, and they all serve a different purpose. So, yeah.
I found that really insightful, and I hope that everyone took something away from that today. So thank you to our panellists, but also thank you to our guests. Thank you for making it here today. Thank you for coming along. We had 90 registrations, and it's fantastic to see all of you here today. Exactly, and that's the first step in all of this, really, isn't it? Turning up. So give yourselves a round of applause as well.